As Minneapolis still reels from Wednesday's tragic shooting, we're learning more about the shooter.
We know ultimately the purpose of the shooter's actions was to obtain notoriety for the shooter themselves.
I'm Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley with Georgia Howe. It's Friday, August 29th, and this is Morning Wire.
A video of a Scottish girl with a hatchet goes viral as a new flagging movement sweeps through the UK. The reason? Immigration backlash.
Yeah, we've had enough.
And after a series of actions from Trump impacting college athletics, the football season begins with billions of dollars at play.
Thanks for waking up with Morning Wire. Stay tuned. We have the news you need to know.
If you run a small business, you know there's nothing small about it. Even the smallest decisions can feel massive. That's where Shopify comes in. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, from household names to brands that are just getting started. You can tackle all the important tasks all in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Even marketing becomes a breeze thanks to their built-in tools for running social media and email campaigns, helping you find new customers and keep them coming back. Plus, Shopify's global selling tools have you covered internationally in over 150 countries, and their award-winning point of sale connects your online and offline sales all in the same place. With an impressive 99.99 uptime and the highest converting checkout experience on the planet, you'll never miss another sale. That's the Shopify advantage. Get all the big stuff for your small business right with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/morningwire. Head over to shopify.com/morningwire. Again, that's shopify.com/morningwire.
2 days after a mass shooter attacked a Catholic school in Minneapolis, new details have emerged about his background, sparking a heated political debate nationwide.
Daily Wire senior editor Cabot Phillips is here to break down the continued fallout from this tragedy. Hey, Cabot. So what have we learned in the last 24 hours?
Well, the latest count, 9 victims remain hospitalized. One of those is a child who is in critical condition. Authorities say that they are, quote, touch and go. As for the shooter himself, we now know that he attended Annunciation Catholic School as a teenager, so that certainly seems to be a factor in picking it as a target. We talked yesterday about the shooter's manifesto, which included clear anti-Christian and anti-Trump, anti-Semitic sentiments, but many of his writings were in this sort of cryptic Russian code. According to a translation from the New York Post, one page says, quote, "I am tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself." Elsewhere, he allegedly writes, quote, "I can't cut my hair now as it would be an embarrassing defeat. I regret being trans. I wish I was a girl. I just know I cannot achieve that body with the technology we have today. I also can't afford that."
Now, much has been made about that transgender identity of the shooter and the role it might have played in his actions. Walk us through that.
Yeah, there seems to be a clear political divide happening right now on this issue. Many folks on the right say the fact he was transgender is an important aspect of the story. They also point to a growing number of mass shootings in recent years committed by transgender offenders, typically in their teens or early 20s. They view transgenderism more broadly as a form of mental illness and argue that affirming sexual transitions, especially for youth, only creates more mental anguish and confusion, which in their view can lead to more violence like we saw yesterday. Here's Fox News host Jesse Waters making that case this week.
Statistically, the trans population has been prone to violence. That's not villainizing, that's reality. The left's weaponizing trans kids and turning them into culture warriors. And now there's a growing trans epidemic, and they won't even admit it. But their fake compassion is getting people killed.
Now, to that point, Daily Wire White House reporter Mary Margaret Olahan asked the administration yesterday if they feel that gender-affirming doctors bear any of the blame for this growing number of transgender shooters. Here's what Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had to say.
HHS is investigating perhaps links between some of these drugs and these prescription drugs that some of these minors may be taking and an increase in violence.
But it's worth noting, many on the left have just ignored the transgender element of this story entirely, or said that even discussing it is a form of bigotry. Here's Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, for example, on CNN.
Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity.
Elsewhere, MSNBC host and former Biden press secretary Jen Psaki said that talking about the shooter's transgender identity is an attempt to distract from gun control.
Weaponizing the shooter's identity is meant to distract from what matters. That is what they are doing, trying to distract from what matters. Here's what matters. Today's shooter bought the rifle, handgun, and shotgun they used to do what they did today legally. It's the guns, everyone. It's not really a secret.
All right, so Psaki, like Gavin Newsom, directing the conversation toward gun control again. Right. Now, we've seen a big discussion about the potential motive here. What do we know there?
Well, as we mentioned yesterday, the FBI is investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and also a hate crime against the Catholic Church. Many feel the motive is clear given the shooter's blatantly anti-Christian manifesto. Remember that video of Jesus Christ's face on the shooting target, as well as a slew of other things mocking God. Right. While talking about a potential motive, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar quickly pivoted and said that the conversation, again, should be about guns.
There's no way to pin an ideology on this, but what I learned from this, once again, is that guns, and we're a proud hunting state. There's a lot of law-abiding gun owners in Minnesota, but there's got to be more we can do.
Now, zooming out, this all comes amid an uptick in violence, harassment, vandalism, and bomb threats against Catholic and evangelical churches here in the U.S. According to the Family Research Council, there were more than 400 such incidents in the last calendar year. That represents more than a 700% increase since 2018.
Well, certainly a very alarming trend. And again, a really tragic situation that played out in Minneapolis. Cabot, thanks for reporting.
Absolutely.
A new craze has hit Britain, raising the flag. The Union Jack and the St. George's Cross have been raised on lampposts across the country. Supporters say it shows renewed national pride, but critics say it's xenophobic and anti-immigrant.
Joining us now to discuss is Guy Dampier of the UK-based Prosperity Institute. Guy, thanks for coming on.
Good morning and great to be back on.
So what exactly is this craze called flagging and what's behind it?
So it's a pretty organic craze. It's come out of the protest movement about migrant hotels. These are hotels which have been requisitioned by the government to put illegal immigrants in. Those illegal immigrants have crossed this channel on small boats. And a lot of local people have been very upset about this because they're paying for it and also because they're losing access to hotels. But also more seriously, there's been a number of cases where illegal immigrants in these hotels have attacked or raped locals. So this summer there have been protests outside a lot of these hotels, and a lot of the people coming to the protests have brought flags with them, and some of them have started putting the flags up on lampposts. And it's hard to tell who the very first people to do that were, but it spread very quickly. Groups have formed, they go flagging together, they'll put them up across lots of lampposts down the street. You've got online fundraisers for groups like Flag Force UK, who are raising money and then shipping out flags to people who want to do it themselves. And you've even got workmen and, sort of coming in with their cherry pickers and helping people put these up. So it's really grown quite substantially. Other people are sort of adding the cross that St. George thinks it's quite easy. So if there's a white roundabout, they're going to paint a big red cross over it so it looks like an England flag. And it's been given a name. Some people are calling it Operation Raise the Colours.
So as you say, this is an organic movement and in direct response to what people perceive to be a migration crisis in the country. Now, as John said at the top, some people have also criticized it as xenophobic. Can you unpack that?
So it's worth remembering that in recent years, we've seen flags used a lot in order to express political opinions. Famously, the Pride flag, which has been for a lot of left-wing causes, in Black Lives Matter versions in particular. But in Britain, it's been the use of Palestinian flags that's been most controversial. So in some areas, particularly heavily Muslim areas like Tower Hamlets in London, those flags went up quite soon after the October 7 attack on Israel. And in Birmingham, which is Britain's second biggest city and also quite heavily Muslim, the council has reportedly said that they are actually afraid of taking down the Palestine flags that have been hung up by people there. So the use of British flags is very much a response to this. And I think there is a bit of a double standard in the different reactions. Birmingham Council have been happy to take down the British flags that have been put up, but they're leading the Palestinian ones up. And a lot of those people who are complaining about flagging and saying that it's xenophobic don't really have anything to say about that. I think all it really exposes is that there are some very deep divisions in Britain at the moment over the issue of mass immigration and over the failure to control the borders. So people are putting up flags because they feel their country is under threat and they want to defend it.
Now, we've also seen some disturbing statistics about rising crime, specifically from foreign nationals. And there was also a recent viral video just this past week showing a Scottish girl wielding an axe and machete, seemingly trying to fend off a man pursuing her. Can you tell us a little bit first about those stats and then that specific incident?
There is absolutely no doubt there has been a surge in sex crimes by foreign nationals. In the last year, about 1 in 7 of all sexual offence convictions was a foreign national. And the rate of increase in these convictions between 2021 and 2024 was 62%. So that's a big rise in those 3 years. There's been a a similar rise in convictions of foreign nationals, things like theft, robbery, drug possession. So the problem is getting worse. And a lot of people are connecting that to the increase in legal immigration and illegal immigration over the last few years. As I mentioned, there have been several high-profile cases where illegal immigrants have sexually attacked women, girls, and even men. It's hard to tell with this viral video in Scotland whether that is the case there. We only have the video, which is recorded by what we presume is a foreigner or a migrant in some way. It shows a 14-year-old girl with her younger sister. They seem to have been harassed, or at least they want this person to go away. One of the girls is brandishing weapons, an axe and a machete. The other one is saying, leave my little sister alone. She's only 12. Don't touch her. The police have subsequently charged the girl with the weapons with possession of a knife, because that is illegal in Britain when the knife is over a certain length and you're in public. But we really don't know what has actually happened yet. And I feel a bit cautious about it. But clearly the girls did feel under threat. And the fact that incidents like this are happening, and the fact that they are being seized upon online like this, shows just how febrile the mood is in the country at the moment. So until the government regains control of the borders, the mood is going to continue to worsen. And unfortunately, in order to do that, the government is going to need to tackle human rights law. And so far, they've shown no appetite to do that.
So it sounds like things are reaching something of a boiling point over there. Guy, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
President Trump has taken a series of steps to shore up collegiate athletics, including through his Title IX policies and establishing a commission designed to fortify the most lucrative of college sports, football. Now, a new season begins for the rapidly changing multi-billion-dollar sport.
Joining us now to discuss is David Cohn, co-host of the Crane and Company show. Hey, Dave, always good to have you on.
Thank you for having me, John.
So you and I have talked a lot about the changing landscape of college football in particular going into this season, and now it's here with billions of dollars at play.
That's right, John. We made it back week 1 of college football. So many interesting storylines here. Obviously, it's year 2 of that expanded 12-team college football playoff, which the Buckeyes won a season ago. It's also the first season post that House versus NCAA settlement that we've talked about so much this summer, which means the college athletes can not only profit from their name, image, and likeness, but also share in the revenues directly from the universities. And also, Lee Corso, his final appearance on College Game Day. It's going to be a very emotional morning on Saturday. Coach Corso has given so much to the college football game. That'll be in Columbus, Ohio, and that's going to take us right into that noon kickoff where the Buckeyes host preseason #1 Texas. Arch Manning's going to be the starting quarterback for the Longhorns. He's the grandson of Archie Manning, the nephew of Peyton and Eli. We can't wait for that football game.
It really is the ideal way to start the day. And there's a bunch of other great matchups, major brands. One of them I particularly like. What else should we watch out for?
That's right. In that 3:30 Eastern window, we're going to get the Alabama Crimson Tide going on the road to play Florida State and Doak Campbell in a game that I know you'll be watching. Obviously, This is year 2 for Alabama without Nick Saban. And on the Florida State side, we've talked ad nauseum about the transfer portal in college athletics now, how it's wide open. You don't have to sit out a year anymore if you transfer. Well, Florida State leaned on that heavily a couple years ago and went undefeated and won the ACC. Not so much a year ago when they went 2-10 under Mike Norvell. Now they're going to get to kick off the season against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Very excited for that game. And then the night game, the 7:30 Eastern window, LSU going on the road to play Clemson in another top 10 showdown. LSU has lost 5 straight season openers, which I know their fan base is really excited to turn that around. And Dabo Swinney, who won 2 national championships at Clemson, ready to host LSU in another top 10 matchup. We can't wait for that one.
And then this weekend, things don't actually stop on Saturday. The games keep coming, correct?
That's right. With no NFL this weekend, the party keeps going into Sunday. We got Virginia Tech and South Carolina in the Aflac kickoff game. And then at night, Miami hosting Notre Dame. How cool is this one for a week 1 matchup? The old school Catholics versus convicts, as it used to be called in the Lou Holtz and Jimmy Johnson era, where now we're going to get Mario Cristobal and Marcus Freeman. Remember, Georgia quarterback Carson Beck transferred out from the Bulldogs and went down to Miami, and Notre Dame is going to be starting a new quarterback in C.J. Carr. And look, the party doesn't even stop there. We go on into Monday as North Carolina will be hosting TCU, and we finally get to see Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach, 2 more Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator with the Giants. We get to see him on the college level as he becomes the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It's going to be a very exciting weekend.
Well, I know I, for one, certainly can't wait for it, and Georgia's going to be glued to the TV. Dave, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, John.
Also, don't miss out on Crane & Company's live streams this week. Tune in with them Friday night as Auburn takes on Baylor and Sunday for the Miami-Notre Dame game.
Thanks for waking up with us. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We'll be back later this evening with more news you need to know.